All right, today I'm going to talk about what it is you would look for when you're looking for a franchise. I made a video on why I got into franchising. Now I'm going to make a video on what I learned once I looked into getting into a franchise. And I have my notes here to make sure that I don't miss anything. The first thing you want to look for when you're looking into a franchise is what type of brand are you looking for? What type of service or industry are you looking to get into? I own Dairy Queens. I stated the reason why I own Dairy. I wanted to bring the brand of Dairy Queen to upstate New York. That was the one reason. It wasn't here, and I think it was a good opportunity. There's a lot of different franchises, from gyms to, mostly in food service. You even have cleaning services. So there's a lot of different franchises that you can get into, but you want to make sure that the one that you want to get into is the franchise that you're looking for and that you're looking to get into. Once you decide what franchise you want to look into, the first thing you should do is you should go to their website. Go to their website and look up, one, what's their qualifications to own a franchise. And some of the first things you're going to notice is, like, let's say, I just use Dairy Queen as an example. You're required to have so much food experience to be a franchisee. You want to make sure that you have that type of food experience or whatever service that you're looking for. You want to make sure you're qualified in the experience that they're looking for. The second thing is the amount of money that goes into it. One is, how much is the franchise fee, which I'll touch base on that a little bit after this. And then secondly, how much do you have to invest into it? Just using Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen requires, it may have changed a little bit now, but when I became franchisee the last time, you had to have $1 million in assets and you had to have $400,000 in cash. The reason why you had to have, I don't know why you had to have $1 million in assets. I don't know if that's to get rid of, disqualify some people, qualify some people, but you need to have the $400,000 cash. And for one thing, you're going to probably spend that $400,000 in cash. Just to give you an example how it works, it costs about $1.6 to $1.7 million to build a Dairy Queen. If you go out, you're going to go out and get a loan. You can get out a loan for the building. You can get a loan for the equipment. So you can borrow the majority of that. But depending on how much experience you have, the bank is going to require you to put anywhere from 10 to 20% down. So let's say if you got let's just use it easy. You got a lot of experience. You need to put 10% down. You're going to have to put down $170,000 to go towards the loan. And then the other part of that, Dairy Queen requires that you spend, you have to have $120,000 in working capital. And the working capital is to get your managers trained, put your employees through training before you open the store. You have to buy the initial food for your employees to train, and then you have to buy the initial food before the store opens. So it requires about $120,000 in working capital. And there's a lot of ways to try to come up with that money. So you're required to have $400,000 in cash, which you need to be prepared to spend, and you need to have $1 million in assets. Now back to the franchise fee, which is important. Franchise fees can vary from $10,000 to $30,000, maybe even a little higher, depending on what franchise. I believe Dairy Queen's franchise, the last time I looked, was $30,000. And one important thing to look for in a franchise is it'll tell you how good or bad a franchise is. How is those franchise fee dollars spent? For one, let me tell you about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen will give you a date to open a store, and if you have that store open by that date, they normally give you like $25,000 for meeting the qualification for return. So that's one way. You can tell they're not asking much. They care more about franchise fee, which we'll talk about, more than they care about your franchise fees monthly than how much you got to pay for the franchise. And then you're going to Dairy Queen. You're going to know. I've noticed that they spend a lot of money. They send out a real estate person when you're looking for real estate to approve or disapprove the different sites and stuff that you're looking at. They give you sites. They have architects that help out with architects. They have engineers that come and work with the construction companies. So every time I spent my $30,000 in franchise fee, I can see where Dairy Queen actually spent that franchise fee. So I knew it wasn't wasted. And the reason why that's important, there's some franchises out there that the only way they make money, well, franchisors out there, the only way they make money is off the franchise fee. A lot of their businesses don't last. So they make their money off franchise fee. They don't do much to assist you. You're off and running. And a lot of times you don't last, but they have already made money off the franchise fee, and they're not really too worried about how much money in franchise fees they get monthly. So that's the second thing that you want to look for. And you go to the website. Then once you complete all that, if you're comfortable with the franchise fee and what they're going to do for you, and you think that you qualify, you should complete that application online. And you have to fill out the qualification and everything. And someone's going to contact you from whatever franchise that you're interested in, whether it's by email or by a phone call. And then you're going to have a conversation. And then what you need to do, and they'll probably do it also, is you request the FDD report, which is the Franchise Discloser Document. And once you get that report, after you fill out the application, they see that you're qualified. So the next stage is sending you that FDD report, which is the Franchise Discloser Document. And now once you receive that Franchise Discloser Document, what you want to do is there's several things that's really important that I look for when I look for a Franchise Discloser Document. The first thing I look for is what lawsuits that they have outstanding. And a lot of those lawsuits will be against, or even past ones, will be against the franchisees suing the franchisor. And you want to read it and see why they're suing them, and kind of give you an idea how good of a franchisor that the franchisee is. Then secondly, they have to report, it's either 24 or 36 months of last store openings and what's their sales and what's their P&L. That'll give you some idea how successful the franchise is. It'll give you normally the sales for year 1 through 3. It'll give you the cost. It'll give you employee costs. It'll give you food costs. And if you have some idea of whatever it is that you're doing, it'll give you some idea, about how much profit you can be. And then sometime it don't give you the area, but a lot of times if you do some research, they give you a list of franchisees that you're able to call, and you can call some of the ones that's kind of new that will give you, that you can go back and talk to them and kind of see what their sales are, see how they did during their first year, second year, and tell you how successful. And that's real important. You should call those franchisees. A lot of them are very forthcoming with information. The second thing that you will want to do when looking at the franchise, or the third thing that you want to do when looking at the franchise disclosure documents is some of the rules on how that they have control, like that they control you. Like say, like with Dairy Queen, you're not allowed to open up any other type of franchises that sell so much ice cream. You're not allowed to open up a franchise that sells so much burgers. You're not allowed to do things like that because you're not allowed to compete against the franchise that you have. So you want to look over those rules. See how long the franchise is. I know with Dairy Queen, the first contract is for 10 years. You want to make sure you understand all that, and to make sure that you want to meet all those, that it's something that you're willing to do. What else is there to look at when you're looking at the franchise disclosure document? I think that's about it of what you want to look for and when you got the franchise disclosure document. So let me just recap: any lawsuits, any rules that they may have, the franchise fee, how much the last 36 months of the franchises, and then from there, and if you're comfortable with all that, from there, normally they're going to have you sign it, letting you know that you received it and that you had it. And then from there, you can have the dialogue. And normally the next spot is, what area, are you looking to go into? And you start, whether it's a cleaning service, car wash, food service, whatever it is, you need to start finding locations, whether you want to buy land, lease land, whatever it is that you want to do. So those are some of the most important things. But just to recap, you want to know the franchise fee and what they're doing with it. You want to know the sales of new stores over the last 6 months. You want to make sure that you're going to a quality brand and how they're going to support you, from that franchise fee. You got to make sure that you qualify, because you don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste their time. That's pretty much a lot of the things that when you're looking at a franchise, some of the things that you want to look for. I hope that helped you out, and good luck in finding your franchise.